July 25th. Merry Christmas. Starting the second half of the year. This will be the January part. But if you start the second half, it's July. July all the way through till, what will we go? We will go all the way through to December. And on December 25th will be Christmas. And hence, which is why I'm in the Christmas room. Hello? So, how are you guys doing? It's been another week. Is there any news going on for the week? I think I fixed my fan issue, except if I have paper, it likes to blow the paper because I put instead of the fan being over to my side, now I'm looking at the fan as if it was a camera. Okay, whatever. We do have a live show going on here. You think somebody would get their act together, and that would be me. So, how are you doing? It's the 25th, and I waited all week to come here and tell you, hello, I love you, and everybody who's watching the show. I have my cameras. This is the A7C Mark II with, actually it's become one of my favorite lenses, the 10 to 20 millimeter. And it is a Sony G lens, and it's a PZ lens, meaning if I turn this camera on, okay, I can use the zoom button and zoom automatically. Now, I did get, somebody asked me a few questions that want to buy the ZV-E1, so I had to actually open up the box because I have it packed and ready to go. But now I'm going to raise the price, because the camera is actually better than I thought. It actually beats everything, including this one, except for a few things. And one of the important things on this camera is I have the license added into it. This is the Sony ZV-E1, okay? So I have the license added into it. So I get 4K, 120 frames per second. Yeah, and it works. I've never used it. So somebody asked me for it, for the information, because I have it up on the marketplace. And I said, I think I did that. Let me check. So I had to open the box and find out that, yeah, I do have that. So Sony seems to be, let's call it, in a mood, a strange mood, so to speak. I see some people are in here. So let's say hi to them off the bat, and then we'll come back and talk cameras. Little baby cameras. So we got Randy. Oh, I don't know. Randy, are you staying with me? Oh, you got your hair cut? I was going to do that, and then you know what? I like longer hair, so I'm going to push it. See, my mom and dad are not here anymore. They're in heaven. And whenever it got longer, it's like, Peter, you got to get a haircut. You got to get a haircut. Well, if my mom wants me to get a haircut now, okay, she can come and tell me. She's in heaven. She's doing whatever she's doing up there, okay? So I like longer hair. I grew up with longer hair. And you guys that are around today, you're not growing up with longer hair. You're growing up with shorter hair. And the two are very, very different. So that's just the way that the cookie crumbles. So Randy is saying that he got his haircut. Here, I'll prove it to you. I'll prove it to you. There he is. Hi, everybody. I got my haircut. So you can come on and say hello if you want. You don't have to. The link's always down there. I know this is the time of the night where you want to relax, put your feet up, watch Peter Gregg, and then go fall asleep. I'll join you. I feel like I want to go to sleep too. All right, so Luis, Mr. Camera Junkie, focused on that new Sony camera, which I never get the right name for it. Let's see, did I write it down? Yes, RX1R3, okay. So basically, it is a baby camera I should have gotten that before I sat down. Hold the phone. Hold the baby. Hold on. Let's get up. I'm going to come around here. All right, so this is a ZV-1, a very, 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 very pocketable camera. So what does that mean to you? It means you can put it in your pocket. Okay, seriously, that's what pocketable means. So the lens is built in. Now the new RX, might as well keep the paper out because, you know, Peter is just not going to remember that name. Okay, the RX1R3, okay. Similar size. Pocketable, and what this paper is that's blowing around is I went and started looking through and took some notes on that camera so that I can talk with a little bit of intelligence about it. So who is that camera for? Well, let me just answer you that very, very directly. If you got the RX1R2, the RX1R3 is for you. Simple as that. So if you do not have the RX1R2 or the RX1R, the original one, this camera is, you're not going to get it. You're not going to understand what this new $5,000 camera is. So what Sony seems to have launched into is they're dealing with people's specific things, okay? So if you actually have A7C Mark II or an A7C R, all right, they came out with the FX2. That camera is for you. If you have the ZV-E1 and you want a fan built in, you want a full-size HDMI, you want 2 card slots, but you want a small body and you want to be able to create content with it, the FX2 is for you. That's why we have all these people making YouTube videos that are going like, wow, why did they come out with the FX2? That is so dumb. And not only that, the 60p is cropped down to 1.5 from full-size sensor. They cropped it. What were they thinking? I have an FX3 and I wanted to upgrade my camera, but I can't. Well, that's because the camera wasn't for that person that owns an FX3. Okay? That FX3 owner and the FX30 owner, unless they're looking for something in specific, and that would actually be higher megapixels, the camera's not for you. The camera's for me, the one that owns the ZV-E1. I want more megapixels, or I want a bigger HDMI port, or stuff like that. The camera is made for the owner of this camera. That camera, the FX2, is made for the owner of this camera, which is the A7C Mark II, or the A7 Mark IV. If you own an A7 Mark IV, well, they took out your sensor, and it's a great sensor. They took it right out, they sucked it right out of that camera, and they put it right into the FX2, okay? And now you've got people that are not the right owners all making videos telling you how disappointed they are in that camera. Well, just shut the front door. Shut the front door, as they say. I was taught what that meant, so I was told not to say that. So now they did the same thing again with this RX1 R3. It's not designed for people with a ZV-E1, which is what I have. Then its camera is not designed for people with an A7C Mark II. No, it's not. Okay? It's designed for the RX1R2 owners and the RX1, no Mark anything, Mark 1, let's call it Mark 1. That is who the camera is designed for. So what Sony is doing is they're looking at their line and they're going, well, we don't want to update this right now, the A7C Mark II. We don't want to update the ZVE1 right now to a ZVE1 Mark II or an A7C Mark III from a Mark II. We don't want to do this or that. So we actually created a camera that gets all the things that need to be fixed on those cameras on a new camera called the FX2. Bada bing, bada boom. Now, they did the same thing. What did I do with that baby camera? With the owners of the RX1R Mark III. Now, they have the stuff or the upgrade for that camera. So there's very few buyers. So I only know one person actually in this room that should even consider the new camera. Okay, now I took some notes. All right, so it's a 61, I figure out where to put this stuff. It's a 61 megapixel, and they took the sensor out of the A7 Mark IV. Okay, they just lifted it out and put it in this new little baby body. This is an RX, I'm sorry, a ZV1. It's not the new camera. All right, but it's a little bit bigger than this camera. So this camera is designed, can go in your shirt pocket, so on and so forth. All right, so it's actually the sensor is a 61 megapixel sensor, and it's the same sensor that right now is sitting in Randy's Q3. The Leica Q3 has got the same exact sensor. They just sucked it out of that camera. They took it out of the A7R, Mark V, Mark IV, that series of cameras. All right, the Leica M3. They took it right out of that camera, okay, and they put it in this RX1 R3. That's what's in the camera. So now this is the best full frame sensor that you can get. Now this is not my opinion because I don't have any of those cameras. I don't have the Q3. I don't have the A7R Mark V or Mark IV. I don't have the Leica M3. Okay, so this is my skimming from the YouTube net. All right, and they are saying that that's basically the best sensor you could buy. Okay, doesn't matter what camera it resides in. So now you've got people making videos that are saying, okay, this camera, 5,000 smackaroos, and they're using the same sensor. What's up with that? That's a big fail. No, it's not. The sensor is one of the best, if not the best, sensor, according to the YouTubers that own these cameras, that you could buy. It's 61 megapixels in a camera that you could put in your pocket. Okay? So, as I started to look around, the quality that's going to come out of that 61 megapixel sensor is not going to be because it's a new sensor. It's going to be because of what lens you put on the body that is actually going to read that sensor. Okay, so that becomes the key. The sensor is a top-of-the-line, best-in-class sensor. All right, now you've got people that don't have the camera, don't know what the front door they're talking about, okay, and they're sitting there dictating what it should have been. They weren't there at the meeting. There was a meeting. These companies have meetings, and they go like, okay, we are in the process of designing a new camera, the A7 Mark V. Ooh, now we're talking some interesting stuff. But in the meantime, we've got an amazing sensor in the A7 Mark IV. So let's make a new camera and put it in the FX2. And that would be for the A7 Mark IV people that want, you know, some other things in their cameras, like no overheating. We put a fan in the FX2. Well, they did the same type of a meeting over the RX1 R2, and they're going like, all right, we're not going to upgrade the RX1 Mark II, all right? We're going to come out with a new camera. And that is exactly what they did. So unless you have the RX1 R Mark II or the R, or one of the other cameras that sensor is built on, you're not going to quite understand. It's not about me. Okay, so they put out a new camera. This should be all about me. It should be aimed at me. It should be something that I want to buy. And oh no, it's not. So what was Sony thinking? Well, they were thinking. They sat there and they had their little meeting, and they came up with let's use the same sensor. It's in Leica's hot camera, the Q3. Okay. It's in the A7R Mark V, Mark IV. Okay. It's in the Leica M3. So let's take that sensor. We'll save a lot of money on updating that. Okay. And we'll put it in an updated version of the RX1 R2 and call it the RX1 Mark III. So the lens that they put on there is a 12-year-old lens. So do you see how this, you know, these people that have a YouTube channel and they go like, well, I need to make a video for this week. What can we talk about? What can we make a video about? Oh my God, Sony just came out with a new camera. They didn't put a new sensor in there, and it's $5,000. And they didn't put a higher end brand new top of the line right off the conveyor belt lens. It's a 12-year-old lens. We got to make a video, and we have to hail this from the top of the roof, or the rooftops. And that's what we are watching. We're watching everybody yell and scream about something they know not of. Okay? Now, you take somebody is running the Q3 or the M3 from Leica. They like that. So now they're going to be looking to see what is in this new camera. Okay? Now, we can get into some of the specifics, but let's just talk about the old lenses for a second. You know, still to this day, one of my favorite lenses is an old lens. It's the Canon 50mm 1.2. Is it the sharpest lens on the block? Heck no. Is it the newest? Heck no. Does it focus the fastest? Heck no. So what's wrong with you, Peter? I'm going to make a YouTube about you and just say you're stuck in the dark ages. You don't know anything about cameras, Peter. How could you possibly like the 50mm 1.2 Canon lens? It's what, a 15? It's a 20? Maybe a 25-year-old lens? I don't know how old it is, so I'm making up numbers there. So you got to look up to see what number it came out. But you know, these new lenses that they come out are so sharp and they're so clinically correct that I just don't like the look. When I make a portrait and the person goes like, oh my God, how gorgeous. It's because I'm using a lens that's got character to it. It's got, I call it the Leica look. Leica's got this look where it's just warm. It's not super sharp, but it's crystal clear. How do you get that in one lens? I don't know. So you take the Q3, and Randy has this, so he could, address that. That Q3, if you know what you're doing with the camera, is going to pump out some really beautiful images. Now you've got an old 12-year-old Zeiss lens that's on this new little pocketable camera that goes in your pocket, and it has 61 megapixels. So if you want a megapixel giant, you would be looking at this camera. Okay. So It's the new lenses are very sharp. I can't take that away. Would I not own one because of that? Hell no. I would buy one because it's so darn sharp. Okay? Does it have the same character when I shoot pictures with my 51.2, the new brand new lenses? No, it doesn't. There's something about that lens, the coating. I don't know where. I'm not a lens designer. But, excuse me, the lens actually is smooth. You know, what do they say about whiskey? They take old whiskey and they go like, this is like 35-year-old whiskey. Now, I don't drink whiskey, so I don't know how old it goes. Okay? But they'll go, it's so smooth. And I'm thinking like, it burns like hell. What do you mean it's smooth? Give me a chocolate milkshake. Make that smooth. Make that glide down my throat. Make me smile with a nice chocolate or strawberry. Or Chick-fil-A makes a peach milkshake. And I think they're in season now. I don't know if it's past, but only when the fresh peaches are in season. That is smooth. Now, is that a top-of-the-line milkshake? Probably not. Probably got a whole bunch of crap in there. Okay? But then when they say this 40-year-old whiskey or this 100-year-old wine or something is so much money because of its age, the lenses do that too. Now, the trouble with that is you can get some old, lousy lenses. Don't get me wrong. Don't just be looking at an old lens and say, oh, it's old, it must be good. No, 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 no. They are hand-selected cream of the crop lenses. The 50mm 1.2 is an amazing lens. Nikon makes an old lens, 35mm f2 lens. And it's not even a high-end lens. And boy, does that lens, I used to use that very, very heavily on my wedding pictures. It just delivered the right stuff. So they put the equivalent of a vintage lens, but modern at the same time, on this RX1 R3 that's coming out, okay? So let's get back to this list. As I was looking through all the different stuff, I can tell you there's a name. So get a pencil out because you're going to want to write this down. So I was looking through a bunch of... Let me get a little bit of water. That water is smooth. Just came out of the faucet less than 20 minutes ago. So I came across this guy named Kyle, K-Y-L-E, Mesha, or Mesha, M-E-S-H-A. And he's got a great video on the RX1, the R3. Okay, so if you want none of the crap that goes with, oh, it's too expensive, they didn't give you this, they didn't give you that, but you really want to get into what are the weak areas of the camera for real, okay, and stuff like that, that would be a very good, I'm going to repeat his name in a second, okay, so he would be a good guy to look up. So just on YouTube where you can do your search, put in his name. It's Kyle, okay, like our buddy Kyle that comes in here. Kyle Mesha, or Mesha, M-E-S-H-A. 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 Kyle Mesha. Bung! Okay, so that's if you have an interest. If not, just listen to some sound people that are not trying to tell you why Sony should have done this and done that. They want a camera designed for themselves, and this camera is just plain not designed for them. And yet they go up and they yap, yada, 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 blah, 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 blah. Shut up. It's not for you. Can you handle that it's not for you? Okay. Okay. Now, on the Q3 that Randy has, and I always found this really, really interesting. I need a flat spot to put my paper. I always found this incredibly interesting. So because it's a 61 megapixel sensor, You just push a button and it'll change nothing. It'll just change the crop from 70 to 50 to 35. I think it goes down to what, 28? And I'm not sure I said the right numbers, but they're very similar to that. Okay. Now on the Leica Q3, if you put it down to, let's say, a 35 millimeter, you push the button and it goes boop, 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 boop. It's like a zoom that doesn't zoom. It just goes from like a certain millimeter to the next one, and there's no in between. Okay, so the camera is handling that internally. All right, now with the Leica, those that bought the Leica, the Q3, when you take that and you put it into your processor, it actually, on the Leica, does not show you, it will always show you the full frame. Okay, you will crop it to those sizes that you want. So on the RX1, R3, okay, it actually will bring it in. It'll give you the full frame of the picture that you took, but it will also show you the crop setting that you have set. So let's say its full frame looks like that. Okay, I'm putting it in front of my face. All right, the full frame looks like that, but you put it to 35 millimeter and it would crop it into that and then blow it up. All right, so on this new camera from Sony, it maintains that crop. It shows you the full frame, but it also shows you the crop that you selected, the crop that you went to when you took this picture. So you could just pop it right into that crop and one and done. Where on the other ones, the Leicas, both the M3 and the Q3, it will always shoot the full frame and not show you what you actually shot, which would be the crop. Okay, so that is something that's very, very different. So you understand what I'm getting at when I say this camera is aimed at upgrading a certain group of people, and that is what you see happening here. Okay. Now another thing that I noticed is that the film looks, and I'm not talking about vivid and landscape and stuff like that, but they'll have like a film look like to resemble a certain type of a film. Okay, I'm trying to remember one of the ones that they put in there, but whatever it is, they've got the film looks. There's only one catch. When you put it into that film look, you actually will only get that film look if you shoot JPEG. Then you'll get that film look. But what if you shot it in RAW? That film look is gone. And do you know how to recreate that film look? I would have a hard time trying to identify a film look and recreate it. So you need to shoot RAW plus JPEG if you want that film look to come in with it. Okay. Now, here's something that it only happens in the Christmas room here. All right. And that is stabilization is one of my I don't want to say a peeve, but one of my favorite topics. That's much more positive, right? So the stabilization is something that I look at very heavily on cameras. So actually just day before yesterday, when that person asked me if I had the that license already installed on this camera that I'm selling, okay, and I had to go in there and double check, and yes, the license is turned on. So what that license does is it gives you more stuff that the camera can do. The highlight of it being 120 frames per second in full 4K, and so that gives you the most amazing slow motion that'll just knock your socks off. So when I did look in there, okay, I decided to do a test because I wanted to see, and maybe I've done it in the past, but maybe I'm not remembering. So I took the A7C Mark II and this specific lens, which is the 10 to 20 millimeter f4 PZ Sony G Master lens. So this is not a third-party lens. This is actually a lens that Sony makes. So I did my walk. I started right from here. I walked in the kitchen. I walked down the fluorescent alley, which is where the kitchen counter is, and everything in there is fluorescent lights. Okay, and then I walked around. I walked outside, and I put this lens on this camera, and then I did the same exact walk with the ZVE1 Eleanor, the white one. Okay, I put that lens on here. So right now I have Randy sent me, this is a lens cover. So if I click this and open it up, I get a 28 millimeter lens, and it shoots pictures nice, but it's 28 millimeter what, f8 or some kind of crazy something. All right, f4.5, I think. All right, so regardless, so I did the same thing on this camera and this camera. Now, one of the strengths of the ZVE1 over, let's just say, any other camera. Can't think of another camera that does it. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist, but it means I can't think of one right now. So I'm going to say the only camera that does it is this one. Is this always, no matter what you do, is going to shoot full frame. It doesn't do anything other than full frame. It doesn't crop into 1.5. Now you could zoom it, which would be a optical zoom that you would do on your own, and it wouldn't be the same or the same quality as something like clear image zoom. Okay, so you really need to understand how the quality gets clobbered when you zoom in different things. Okay, so I will get a wider picture with the same exact lens on the ZVE1 as I will on the A7C2. A7C2 Mark II here in this hand, the black camera, okay, will if I put the lens that's on there, it will automatically drop it into APS-C mode. Just automatic. Nothing you could do about it. Take it to the Supreme Court. They're not getting anything else right up there. Well, they've been doing better. Okay, so on this camera, there is no crop. So what happens is you see the sides of my frame. What camera am I on? I'm on the Nikon. Okay, so see the upper, it'd be your right, like this corner here, and then if I go to this corner, oh, can't reach it all the way over there. Those corners, all right. You'll see little black vignette come and go because we're shooting full frame with a crop sensor. So what happens? You're going to get black around, like a black ring. Okay. Now, when you put dynamic image stabilization and turn it on, because you want to do the dynamic, you want the better stabilization. Okay. So when you turn that on Eleanor, the ZVE1, it crops it so that 95% of the black in that corner, up, Peter, okay, and the black in that corner is gone. And if you want to get rid of that little residual, you can even bring it in a little bit more when you get it in your computer. Now, when you do the same exact thing with any other camera, meaning the A7C Mark II, okay, any other full frame camera, all right, and then you turn on dynamic image stabilization, you are cropping automatically because this is a crop sensor lens. So the camera has put it in the crop sensor mode, okay, and that's a key. And then when you turn on dynamic image stabilization, boom, you crop again. Another big chunk of juicy crop. So you actually will get a wider picture, and you can control how much of the black ring you cut out, and you can cut a lot of it out and still have a wider picture with Eleanor than you will with Blackie. Okay, so that's another huge advantage of the ZVE1. Now, on So why did I tell you all that story? I told you that story because while I was doing the testing with the dynamic image, the dynamic active image stabilization, I also did a test to compare the stabilization between these two cameras, and it's very similar, almost identical. So this camera, meaning Blackie A7C Mark II, versus Eleanor ZV-E1 with the image stabilization, it gives you about the same results. Maybe it's better on one over the other. I don't know. I didn't compare them that harshly to find out. But on a whim, just a whim, okay? And this is where it's going to come back into this RX1r Mark R3, whatever. The new camera, which is the RX1 R3, has no stabilization at all. Now, Leica did on their Q3 add stabilization on the lens. So on the lens of the RX1 R3, oh my God, I'd like to have a little word with the people that are coming up with these names. Me and maybe 45 other guys. All right. So no stabilization. But they did put stabilization into the camera, what they call electronic or digital stabilization. And Sony's digital stabilization, except for the dynamic active, it is not very good, in my opinion. I mean, I could be a lot harsher than that, but just take it at that for the moment, okay? So the advantage that you get on the new Sony RX1, the new one, the $5,000 job, is if you turn all the stabilization off, you can use a program called GyroFlow. And that GyroFlow will actually give you better stabilization than anything. So that's what I did. I turned on these cameras. After I did all my little tests, I did another walk around with each camera with the stabilization off, OFF off. Okay, and after I did that, I ran it through GyroFlow. Now the GyroFlow runs almost one for one. So if I shot 24 frames per second, it was stabilizing it at 22 and 23 frames per second. So the amount of time that it spends in GyroFlow is not great, but you do have to do another step of putting it in another software. And I say that with glee because a lot of people go like, ooh, you got cooties, don't do that. Okay, but let me tell you something. It outperformed the stabilization by far in both the A7C Mark II and the ZV-E1. So if I just turn all the stabilization off, the one that I really, really like, dynamic active image stabilization, GyroFlow clobbered it. It just did that much better. So you do get that advantage with this RX1, the R3. You do get that advantage if stabilization is what you're after for video. You could just run your clips right through GyroFlow, and it has a queue, which means you could put all your clips in there, go to bed, wake up the next morning, and they're all stabilized, okay? So you can't do that with the Nikon. You can't do that with the Leica, the Q3. You can't do that with the M3. They don't put the image stabilization from the gyro data into the camera. They don't do it for this guy either. Panasonic doesn't put that in. If they would simply put that in some of these cameras, all of these cameras would have a huge leg up on the guy that wants to apply himself and come out with a better image, and he's willing, and maybe he's got a very powerful computer, or maybe he's willing to put in delaying until it all gets stabilized, but he will have something that looks like it was shot on a gimbal. So the new RX1 R3 has no stabilization in the lens, okay? So, but Leica did add stabilization into their camera optical stabilization, not digital. Okay. Now the let's fold this up. The RX1R. So you can tell I'm having a hard time with that name tonight, right? So it looks like they didn't pay a lot of attention for the video side. So you can't even shoot 60p in 4K on that 61 megapixel sensor. If you want to shoot 60p, you have to drop down to 1080 on the Sony. The Leica, I don't know. I should have looked that up. Maybe Randy can come in and say, yes, we can, or no, we can't. So 60p on the new camera is out unless you go to 1080. You can go up to 30p, 4K, and the camera's happy with that. All right. The other thing that I noticed that I found very interesting, that was a surprise, and I have a few more questions, and I guess I didn't look that part out up myself. Like this little guy here has got ND filters built into it. And this is a $500-600 camera. So I don't know if the new $5,000 camera, see, now I'm starting to sound like these YouTubers. $5,000 and you didn't put ND filters in there? And a little $500 camera has it? What was Sony thinking? All right. So did I cover everything all the way down? Oh, yeah. The one other thing that I found interesting is that it's able to take the data off of the sensor so fast that there's no blackout if you do like a high frame rate. It doesn't black out. Okay? So it just gives it to you with no blackout happening. So that is what I looked up. I would really, if you have any interest, and most of you shouldn't. I can't think of a single person in here other than maybe Randy who actually likes cameras for the sake of cameras. Okay? I would look up this gentleman, Kyle Mesha, M-E-S-H-A, and find that video on this camera, and he did a really good job. He didn't do like, they didn't make the camera I wanted, it's all about me. No, he didn't do that. He actually went through it logically and with a sense of intelligence. So that makes it important. All right, so that's my little run on the RX1R Mark III. Okay, so let's get in and say hi to all of us. This is what the show is about tonight. Hi, Randy. He got his haircut. Oh, yeah, I show that because I was telling you about my haircut. I'll get it eventually, maybe sometime during the summer. Or maybe when my hair starts annoying me. Maybe at that point, you'll see it get cut. Okay, but until now, I'm enjoying blowing in the wind, you know, because that's the way I grew up. That was the mark of a man, was nice, long hair, like the gladiators of old, where they went too far, but whatever. Okay, Scotty is here. How you doing, buddy? I love you. I love all of you, in case I miss saying I love you to one of you guys. So Scotty is here, and I'm happy to see his smiling face. What's that song about? The smiling face. Ba 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 bum. Something to that effect. Well, Scotty, you are so appreciated, big guy. Very appreciated. Okay. So Jim Monday is here. Good evening, Peter. And he knows what's coming. He knows what's good for him. It was his birthday yesterday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jim. Happy birthday to you. How old are you now? How old are you now? How old are you, Jim? Happy birthday happy birthday, happy birthday to you. Now everybody say happy birthday to Jim. It's his birthday. I think he crossed over into the 60s now. Boy, you guys are all getting so old. Golly gee whiz. Old, old, old. Okay, so if anybody else's birthday that I need to sing, you bring it to my attention and we'll just turn the church button on and I'll sing like I'm in a church. Okay. Scotty's saying, excitingly awaiting interesting content. Scott, this camera's not for you, buddy. Okay, I know what you shoot. I know how you shoot. Way over the budget for what you're going to get back. You'd be far better off with an FX2 or an A7R Mark V than you would be with this camera. Okay? Now, if you were a whippersnapper and you needed to whip out a camera, you needed that 60 megapixels, you were taking all kinds of pictures because you were maybe doing stock photography or there was some kind of a reason that you needed high megapixels, you do a lot of cropping, then yeah, I would be looking at this camera. But just for us, the rest of us, like Scott and me, we just like cameras. We like the gear. It's completely separate from taking the picture. We're gearaholics. Okay? So, love you, Jim. Love you, Scott. Woody's here. And he's saying, happy birthday, dear Jim. I spoke with Jim on the phone today. So, Jim is saying thank you to Woody. And Sammy's here. How you doing, big boy? Love you. Hope everything is going well and you're staying busy. One of my best internet buddies is Peter Serrato. We got into trouble together, and he stayed by my side through the whole thing. And now we're the best of friends. He's actually a professional level. I don't know what licensing he's got. Nutrition guy. So he's helped me many a time on the nutrition level. So a big fat hello to him. I forgot where he's at. I know where he is. Okay, in cameras. I think he went to Fuji. Oh my God, I forgot where he settled. He's been through them all, so he's had hands-on with most of these cameras. But I love him dearly. He's a fantastic friend. Just like Jim Monday, I love him dearly too. Really great way to explain these new cameras. I have not kept up with it, and it's confusing. Yeah, it is. It's getting confusing to the point where sometimes I don't want to dive in. Who just came out with a camera? I didn't even bother to cover it. I don't remember who. It's just too much. It's overwhelming, okay? So you need someone that can actually break it down for you without making it sound like the world revolves around them, because that's the part of YouTube that's becoming like the world revolves around these people. And not only that, while I'm doing a rant on YouTube, the thumbnails on these different videos, not even related to cameras, the thumbnails and the titles sometimes have almost nothing to do with what's in the video. So they had a thing about ships crashing or colliding or something. And they had a really interesting thumbnail, and I clicked on it and I watched the whole thing. That image from the thumbnail was not in that video anywhere to be seen. That's number one. Then the next thing is these AI videos. I have found the button where if you look at a channel and you're looking at the thumbs, there's three little buttons, like three little dots, okay, on the bottom right. And it says, do not recommend this channel to me anymore. So I was watching a Billy Graham sermon, and it wasn't Billy Graham. It was AI generated. So they're using his likeness. It looked like him, talked like him, but somebody else was putting the words in his mouth. No, that's not right. Billy Graham had to say what he had to say, and he's done. You could watch his old videos, but you don't do that and put up a brand new video as if he's preaching today. And they're doing that with other people. They had, what's Trump's son's name? The young one, the kid. Barron, all right? They made an AI where he beautifully sang Amazing Grace. Now, Barron wouldn't sing Amazing Grace. I don't even know if he knows how to sing. But he did a great job, and the whole thing was AI generated. So you don't know if you're watching real or fake. And, I mean, we've got the fake news, but now we got the fake videos. And it's just, I resent it. Okay, so there's a Christian preacher that wrote a lot of books called C.S. Lewis. And I saw him, and they put up a new video as if he was preaching to me today. He has been gone a long time. So I have found that button that says, do not recommend this channel. I don't want the fake preachers. I want to hear people that's willing to stand up, show their face, say what they got to say. If I agree with it, fine. If I don't agree with it, fine. But how can I not agree with an AI-generated Billy Graham or C.S. Lewis? You know, and now that famous guy just passed away, I could see his face, but I can't think of his name. MacArthur. I think it was MacArthur. You're going to start seeing him popping up preaching. And they're going to put words in his mouth as if he was preaching today. No. And Jimmy Swaggart. He's the other one that just passed away. You're going to start seeing Jimmy Swaggart. And he's like a hellfire and brimstone where he slams the floor, slams his Bible. And you're going to see AI generate that. Well, the man has finished. He finished his earthly run. Don't recommend that channel for me. I don't want the fake stuff. I want what you can create with your creativity, but I want it to be not an imitation of someone else. And then you don't tell me. I mean, they don't tell me that this is a computer-generated video. They just put it out there, and you think you're watching these people. So after I'm dead and gone, they're going to put AI videos of me telling you, no, this new camera sucks, don't buy it. Okay, well, I'm not saying that at all. All right, that was what you call a rant. Okay, so Michael King, hey Peter, long time no see. How you doing, Michael? Glad you're in here. I love you, buddy. Thank you for writing a hello to me. That means a lot because I can't see you, but I can read what you've got to say. Evelyn is here. Evelyn is here. Such a pretty lady is here. She came to say hello. Evelyn is here. Evelyn is here. She came to say hello. And I miss her so. That's a song for you, Evelyn. Michael King is saying happy birthday to Jim Monday. Randy's saying a lot of people have been waiting for 10 years, but the only competition was the Leica Q2. That's the camera before the Leica Q3. And Randy does have the Q3. Leica has the Q3, and Sony is playing catch-up. Right. And if you stay in that bowling alley, that bowling lane, that would be proper. But when you take it to another bowling lane that's got nothing to do with the fact that they're playing catch-up with that camera, then you're just generating fodder, as Star Wars would have to say. So Randy says the Q3 has optical. See, optical is in the lens. Digital is in the camera body. So the new Sony does not have optical image stabilization, but the Leica Q3 does. Okay. Oh, thank you, Randy. The Sony camera improved a little bit on the battery, but they didn't put the bigger battery. So Blackie here and Eleanor, they're very small compact cameras, but they use the big battery, the big boy, the FZ 100. Okay. Now on their new camera, that's one thing I can really hammer Sony on. Why didn't they put the higher power battery? Oh, it's because of the size. So small, blah, blah, blah. They were creating a new camera. That's when you put the right battery in it and make it work, damn it. Why do you think I pay all you engineers? Make the damn thing work. Okay? But they put something that's capable of, they upped it to 300 images, all right, which is Okay, got a hand that they squeezed out more out of that little battery, but you still have to use another size battery. So if you have this camera and you want to get, if you have Eleanor, the ZVE1, and you want to add the $5,000 camera, you got to buy a whole new array of batteries. And you certainly aren't going out with one or two batteries, are you? Are you? I'm looking at you. No, you're going to go out with 3 or 4 batteries. You're not going to run home because your battery ran out. Okay. So thank you for that part, Randy. That's an important feature. Oh, yeah. I wrote that down. I forgot to read it. The accessories are absurdly expensive. Now, that doesn't have to be. Okay. The accessories, meaning like you wanted to buy an extra lens hood or special lens hood or something, where a regular lens hood would be anywhere from $20 to $60. $300 for this new RX1R3 camera. You want to buy a lens hood? $300. So it's kind of like bend you over, you know? So that's not right, okay? Now, what they charge for the camera, that's their business. They're in a certain marketplace. They're contending with Leica and so on and so forth. And Leica's not cheap. I can't say anything about that. All right? But $300 for the accessories, that's beyond my comprehension. So Randy's trying to get me to cheat on my diet. Whataburger, banana pudding milkshake. Oh, Arby's Jamocha milkshake. Ooh, McDonald's frappe mocha. They're all tasty. Randy is 100% right. Ding, 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 ding. Randy wins the prize on the best listed shakes of the evening so far anyway. So Kyle loves the A7CR because of interchangeable lenses. The Sony RX1R3 is a point and shoot, smaller. I worry about overheating. Yeah, they're cramming all that stuff in there. Okay. Jeff in Australia. Good day, Peter, and made it today. Thank you for coming in. I love you, Jeff. I hope you're feeling wonderful and looking wonderful. Jim says, thank you for the birthday song celebrating the 20th anniversary of my 44th birthday. Oh, my God. Well, God bless you. We're all taking forward steps on this age ladder together. Our goal is the sky and not the grave. I got a t-shirt for that. It's in the description. Okay? That's a good t-shirt you can wear anywhere. And a lot of people are not going to know what the hell you're talking about. My goal is the sky, not the grave. What does that mean? Okay? Well, it gives you an opening to tell what it's all about. Philip Vostopoulos, Tikane de Kipera, Nasa Zisi, Getapediasu. I'm trying to think of all the sayings I could say. Hello from Montreal. Greetings to everybody. Love you, Philip. Love you, Philip. Thank you for coming in and saying hello. That means a lot. Everything is AI now. I love when the individual is a he and called a she. Have you seen that? Yes. They'll make these fake videos, and then it'll say, she said this. And I'm thinking, oh, this guy is political. No, he's not political. He's just stupid. There's a difference. Okay? They are a aficionado in stupidity. If I could say it right, it would sound a lot better. Okay. Oh, Randy is wide awake tonight. A7CR also has the full frame lens equivalent when placing an APS-C. Good, thanks. I didn't know that. Now I'm going to have to pay more attention to that because I like that. Do they have dynamic image stabilization on the A7CR? Yes, they do. Yes, they do. So the A7CR stays full frame when you put the APS-C lens on it. Is that what you're saying, Randy? You don't have to answer. Jim Monday, happy birthday. There we go. All right, we've gone the full hour. We've gone through the camera that I wanted to talk about, and we've gone through saying hello to all the wonderful, fantastic people. If you're watching this on the rewind, thank you for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you rewinders, because there's a lot of people can't watch at this time, so they watch it later on the rewind. So shout out to the rewinders. Hey, you doing? I'm giving you a big thumbs up, especially if you're listening to it in the car. All right, so that brings us to the end of another show. Christmas in July the 25th. Let me make sure I'm saying the right thing. Yep, the 25th. So when's the first day of the month for August? I think it would be Wednesday or Thursday, depending on how many days we have in here. We've had the one birthday, and if anybody's birthday, nobody else said anything, because I do like to sing happy birthday to you. I like to sing, okay? And I like to make you feel special at the same time. So God willing, and the bridge isn't up, and my goal is the sky and not the grave. And I hope you have a very safe, super safe week. And anything else that I didn't remember? So this week, just so you can catch up on me, I cut the grass. I did the weed string thing. I got very tired, okay? I noticed that my legs are getting weaker, the muscles, and they have a name for that, like scarpathopia or something like that. It starts with an S. And I'm supposed to eat more protein. I thought I was eating a lot of protein, but I will be paying attention to my protein. So Jim will be happy to hear. I will be buying some bone broth protein powder to put into my shakes. Maybe that'll make my leg muscles get stronger. So good night, everybody. Have a great weekend. Randy is taking us out, as he normally does. Goodbye, everybody. Have a great week. Cheers to you all. We are all going to go get something sumptuous to snack on now. Maybe a little ice cream. Maybe a little... Wait, what was that banana shake he said? have to back up and go find it. Whataburger banana pudding milkshake. I don't have a Whataburger banana pudding milkshake. So I'm wondering, next time I go to Publix, which is our grocery store, if I buy the Jell-O banana pudding mix, if I put a tablespoon of that powder into my morning smoothie, maybe I will get a little better taste, because Randy's got me putting coffee in it. I do use instant coffee. And I could tell you, what a shake. Never mind what a burger. What a smoothie. What a smoothie. We can open up. Hey, you guys want to open up a business with me? We'll open up a shop. We'll call it What a Smoothie. And somebody can drive down and you can stay here for a week. I'll make a room for you. And you can run the shop for a week. And we can all be partners in What a Smoothie. And we'll have all the best smoothies you can make. And we'll put coffee in there. We'll even put desserts and ice cream. What's a store without ice cream? Okay. All right, we'll go into business. But seriously, there's two businesses that we can look at. See, I'm looking to get some kind of an income. One of them is making video clips and putting them up to sell. And who did I just see did a great video on that? Matt Johnson. Matt Johnson is one of the more stable, intellectual. I don't agree with everything he says, but I agree with a lot of what he says. And he's a wedding photographer also. So we're in the same ballpark. He's got a great personality. He's got this beard, whatever. Okay. I haven't heard from Carlos in a while. I'm getting a little concerned about him. I did make 2 phone calls. I didn't get through. I understand he might be on a trip visiting some family. But Carlos is somebody I want to make sure he's A-okay. All right. Love you guys. See you, God willing, in the bridges and up next week. My goal is the sky, not the grave. Bye.